and the Bible is false. Join William Bell for discussion on the end times and Bible prophecy on the All Things Fulfilled Eschatology broadcast Sunday mornings at 9 a.m. on KWAM 990 and FM 107.9. Listen on Facebook at KWAM The Voice.
Here's Business Spotlight from your local voice, FM 107.9 and AM 990. And here's your host, George Bryant.
Good morning and welcome to Tuesday. Tuesday is one of my favorite days because one of my favorite people get to sit next to me and we get to talk about growth. Traci Strickland from Triumph Bank, welcome to the studio.
As always, George, good morning. It's so good to be here on this Independence Day week. We were sharing stories.
I know. You know, it is interesting about all the celebration. I think that people really go out and it makes you proud. I was thinking the other day, I'm under pressure. I've got to get a flag. I got to get my new flag up. I think we need to fly our flags. And I'm torn because I don't really have a place for it.
Oh, you don't?
You know, so you got to go, where do you?
Got to have the
you
good
gotta
hanger
have the
place
right place for it. Or you could get a bunch of those smaller ones I saw at Home Depot. The little.
You can.
And
well, that's the funnest part is like there's so many different neighborhoods throughout the area that really do it up, and they'll put out the little flags. I've lived in High Point Terrace for over 20 years, and I love our neighborhood.
Oh, they do a great job.
Our 70th annual parade. We claim it's the longest running parade in the city of Memphis, and I think we're having Shelby County Mayor Harris come out and, you know, celebrate with us and some other speakers. But it's just so fun to get everybody feeling patriotic and decorate their yards. And
we are so lucky to be living in this country. And a lot of the freedom, you know, what does that mean? And I know you were going to talk about it a little bit as today's theme is to talk about.
Well, it is. You know, I think we sometimes almost we live here day to day and we take that for granted and thinking about there's different ways we can have freedom. And I think that, you know, we talk about we're a bank, and so many people have we're going to the bank is another chore. It's another errand on my list that I don't want to have to deal with, because I think so many people over the years, no matter how old you are, have had probably a not really great experience at a bank.
You know, the thing that I was just trying to think, I was flashing back the old days where you have to used to get in line and go up to the teller and everything, and how that's all changed. And changes continue, and that's what I love about you guys, you know, at Triumph Bank, is that you are on the cutting edge, you know, but at the core of all that is a real personal touch that you guys seem to somehow be able to do at all the branches. I mean, if you want to go in and feel welcome, Triumph Bank is the place.
I mean, we really strive to know every person by name. You know, I mean, I love walking in, and I might be making a transaction myself, and I'll see our bankers interact with our customers, and somebody will walk in, they'll say, "Hey, Mr. So-and-so," and like they know you. It's like the old show Cheers that we used to watch in the 80s and early 90s. But it's so true. I think, you know, there was an article a couple of years ago I saw in Forbes that said millennials would literally rather go to the dentist than listen to a banker, which is terrifying.
It is, because a dentist is terrifying.
Well, I love my dentist. You know, it's just they're sweet people. But, you know, there's that kind
drills.
They have drills and really sharp objects. We don't have drills or sharp objects at our bank. But I got to thinking, like, why is that? Why is that even a statistic? And I think it goes back to, like, so many people have had those poor experiences. So really what we have prided ourselves so long, you know, all 13 years that Triumph's been around, is creating a customer experience that's unlike others. And there's a lot of great institutions out there, and I'm not here to diss anybody, but I am I'm proud of our team and the service level that we deliver. And I think the couple of things that really, you know, the millennials are looking for, all age customers are looking for, is for banks to meet them where they are now. And you know, you said like several years ago you had to go into the bank for every single thing that you did, and you'd, you know, wait in, you know, an area to be able to sit at a desk to open an account, and then you'd have to wait in a line to make a deposit. All of that is gone now. I mean, like clearly, you know, you do come into the bank and meet with bankers, but it's a different it's a different feel. And we're redoing our website, and I was talking to our graphic designer team yesterday, and we were talking about the different scenarios. She said, like everybody has online banking, everybody has mobile banking. What makes your experience different at Triumph? And I said, but I see our bankers, and I see how they talk to the customers, and I so rarely, people don't really come into the bank as much anymore because our bankers are going to them. So you think about, doctors used to make house calls. Now we always go to the doctors. Now it's kind of in reverse. We always had to go into an office to meet with a banker, but now our bankers are making those house calls. I've seen, people huddled around a dining room table, opening accounts. I've seen, our bankers go over to, it might be for, I know we've had some of our commercial real estate lenders. They're working with contractors that are, building spec homes, and they bought the land and they're looking at it. Our team is there with the hard hat right next to them, helping them, make those kind of decisions. So being able to meet them where they are is so awesome.
And that's what you guys have done so unique is to be able to connect all that. Because if you want ease of banking, you don't even have to go to the bank.
Right.
And you know that you can depend on Triumph Bank for it to be, safe, deposits, transfers, all that stuff.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, you get that personal touch. We talk about it a lot on this program, that if you guys, if you're listening out and you're a business owner, you need some capital to grow your business, come into the bank, and what you're going to get is the professional team's input. They're going to look at just part of the way they do. They sit down, well, let's take a look at your business and see different ways. So you get consultants, you get all that. And I think that's what's really unique. We're going to take a quick break. We're talking about Independence Day. We're talking about what that means in the banking world. At Triumph Bank, they deliver. Let's talk growth. Traci Strickland. We'll be right back. You're listening to The Voice, FM 107.9 and AM 990.
Are you looking for a bank where your money can grow? Triumph Bank has great new rates on certificates of deposit. Triumph's competitive rates are for 6, 12, 18, and 24-month CDs. Let Triumph help you grow your money in this rising interest rate environment. Check out our website at triumphbank.com/CD special or call 901-333-8876 for more information. Triumph is a member of the FDIC and an equal housing lender. Let's talk growth.
Free Talk Live.
What does it mean to you to be conservative? What does it mean to you to be liberal? I think they're very vague concepts that pit people against one another. Many people who otherwise, in the absence of being able to plaster themselves with that label, might find out they've got an awful lot in common. Free Talk Live, Sunday through Friday nights on KWAM, The Voice, FM 107.9 and AM 990.
And now back to Business Spotlight on The Voice, FM 107.9 and AM 990.
Welcome back to our studios. It is Tuesday, and Let's Talk Growth. It's a special segment that we do. We've been doing this for a couple of years now with Triumph Bank, and Traci Strickland. Welcome back, Traci.
Thanks, George.
This is a good time. Traci is the Senior VP for Marketing for Triumph Bank, which really is a big picture job. I think it's real exciting. But at the heart of that, I guess, with Will Chase leadership, that you guys are really our community.
We are, and I'll give you a perfect example. George, I know you introduced us to Henry Nelson and all of Carpenter Art Garden. So this is what happened during lunchtime yesterday. We've talked about how we provided, I guess we started about 3 or 4 weeks ago with Carpenter Art Garden. They have a teen staff there that they've hired in Binghamton, kiddos that have grown up in that neighborhood, have gone to the garden, for several years, and now they're, employed by the Great Place. And so we've been working with them twice a week with 8 or 9 kids at a time. And who did I spend my lunch hour with? And Diane, my new marketing coordinator who's here with me this morning, was Will Chase. And here's the great thing. He rolls up his sleeves. We're in this small room, and he's up on the whiteboard. I'm cleaning off the whiteboard as he's talking about new concepts. We covered everything from, retirement, different types of retirement accounts, an overview of the stock market, just really getting their feedback, answering questions, and and then he's telling funny stories because, I mean, like he grew up going to Snowden, and then he went to East High School for a couple of years, and a couple of the kids that were in the room with us went to East High School. So he talked about a funny prank that a friend of his in high school did. So just, it's just an amazing executive team led by Will and so many others. Our board, who is so well connected and so invested in what we do at Triumph.
And that's what I love about the bank. And then if you're if you're just listening and you're looking for a bank, I encourage you, Triumph Bank, great people. They have 4 locations throughout the Mid-South, and great website. Check them out, triumphbank.com. We're talking about independence, and we're talking about, what it's like to come to a bank and say, why are people, millenniums, are so afraid of the bank or hate that?
Well, I think a lot of people are like, oh my God, I don't want to go to the bank again. I have to do, all these errands. Well, I think what they don't realize is so many of the things that they're coming into the bank for, they can do on their phone, they can do on their tablet. So, for example, we had somebody in the community that I knew that said, I've been looking to come in and open an account. Can you help me? I know how busy this guy is. So I set up an appointment. He ran into our Ridgeway office, and I introduced him to one of our medical professional bankers. We have a niche that only works with doctors and lawyers and attorneys and accountants. And he had a law degree, so I brought him in. And here's how the meeting went. First of all, she said, she looks to him and said, well, first thing you need to do is put my cell phone number into your phone. And and he said, why? And he said, well, because I can't help you unless you call me. and I've heard that so many times from so many of our bankers, and then I realized how unique that statement is.
Yeah, absolutely. Because they're opening up and make themselves accessible to you.
Right. I mean, how many bankers do you have their cell phone,
I know.
Plugged in? Not many, and so that's the first thing that they do. And, they usually, before, if we know somebody's coming in, we'll go ahead and make sure they, bring their ID. And we find out, first of all, we ask them a bunch of questions because we have several different types of just a checking account that we want to make sure it's the right match. We're not going to try to, if George, you're coming in, we're going to go ahead and open this account for you without asking, what's your average balance? Would you like it to earn interest? Would you like other perks that come with it? Some of our accounts offer, no ATM fees, no matter where you're, putting your debit card. Some have a discount on a safe deposit box if you'd like that, So asking those questions, and you talked about the consultant nature. I mean, our bankers now, instead of just taking transactions, they're coached and taught to act as consultants. So we've asked those questions, and so it might be where we had a girl from Memphis Center City Rugby who just graduated from high school going off to college. She never had a bank account before. So we obviously opened her up with a little complimentary checking account, but got her debit card the same, in 30 minutes. Signed some papers. We print those in-house, so she left with that. But, being able to sit down and then walk with her and show her how to get online, make sure she could get our app, make sure there's a couple of little levers you have to pull to get set up on doing the mobile deposit. She's going to school, I think, in Cleveland, Tennessee, so she's not going to be here. So I just wanted her to know, number one, you can, if you have a job, set up direct deposit for that money to come on in. But if you get other checks, here's how do you, make those deposits, and then you're going to have an ATM card that doesn't have any fees, and you can just get your e-statements. But there's different scenarios along the way. We have some that are catered towards 55 and older that has a great interest-bearing account with a discount on a safe deposit box called our Prime Timer checking. A couple of years ago, we started an account for the under 40s that have a job that they travel a lot and they want that freedom, and we've waived the ATM fees on that account. It's the young professional account. It even has young professional on their debit card, which I think it's always been cool, And then we have medical professional checking that has a great interest rate that caters towards those doctors and dentists. So, we want, when somebody comes to open an account, we want to make sure, number one, that we fit them with the right account, right? And then we want to be able to show them all the features that, we provide them so that, of course, we want to see them, but we also want them to have complete freedom to bank anytime, anywhere.
What's great, too, is the anytime, anywhere statement is that you guys are on the cutting edge of that. I am just amazed. I'm still, I do some pay bills, online, and I love that
Right.
kind of a feature, but I'm still a check guy. And but what's cool to that is as a transition is that you can, you guys have a feature. I guess you take a picture of the check or whatever, and you can cash deposit and move,
Oh, yeah.
and just those things. You're right. You've made it where you really don't have to come into the bank,
Right.
unless there's something like if you want to go check your deposit box, or you want to,
Sure.
you want to get ready for your child's education
Yeah.
fund, or
You have that kind of next step.
yeah. So it's
Yeah.
more of a consultant moment if you need somebody to come in and help walk you through it.
Right.
But everyday stuff,
Oh,
you don't
yeah.
even have to go to the bank.
You don't
And
have
that's
to.
what's so
Yeah.
cool. So you guys have done a great job with that. But a lot of times people, I'm wondering if you would take a minute and talk about if we wanted to set up just a regular checking account, what is the process?
The process is, number one, we've got 4 locations around Memphis. We've got a new location in Brentwood. So if you do travel to the Middle Tennessee area, we've got you covered with an amazing private banking team there as well. I would say if you have questions about what account might fit you, feel free to call me, and then I can point you to the right banker depending on what your needs are.
Oh, that's
My
good.
direct
Yeah.
number is 333-8815, or my email is tstrickland, TSTRICKLAND,
There you
at
go. Y'all did it
tribank.com.
again. Giving out
So
the personal
giving
numbers.
out the personal numbers. But call me and we can discuss which account might be best. Or if you know that you're right around the corner from our Arlington office, on Airline Road, what I would do is I would call them and I would ask for our manager, Stephanie Bishop, and find some time where she can just handhold you through that whole process, so that number one, you can come in at a time that's convenient for you. You know that you're going to have a fantastic banker on the other side,
Right.
and then she will walk you through that process just like I did, as far as she's going to ask you a couple of questions on what you're looking for. And this could be for a sole proprietor business owner as well. So all these checking account offerings that we've got on the personal side, we've got a fantastic suite of those same services on the business side.
Yeah.
And so it could be, and what we found so much is somebody may come in to open that first checking account. I have a performance checking account, so I do have to have a minimum balance, that I maintain, but it's a great interest-bearing account. And so, but then the next step might be that person decides to start a small business or needs a business account. So that's when somebody else that person comes back into the bank and starts asking new questions. So we have most of our customers end up being personal and business relationships, because it's that full service spectrum. And think about the calls we've had with some of our Nashville team. I see it all the time in Memphis, that they may come in to buy a house and they work with our mortgage team.
Yeah.
And so then what happens is they build relationships with other members of our banking staff, and then they come in to say, well, how can we help you on the banking side? We've helped you with our mortgage, with buying your house. How's your checking account? How's your savings account? And then many times they are a business owner as well. And so we have literally their house, their checking account, and their business accounts. And we've had customers on our medical team that our commercial bankers have helped them buy a piece of land so they can build a new maybe doctor office. In the meantime, they're a personal checking account, and then we've helped them buy their house. So anything that has to do with financing your dreams, a part of our team is going to be able to help you, and our team works so well together that they sit around a table and figure out what's the best scenario.
What's in financing your dreams, that's a good, I like that.
I just made that up. That's good.
Write that down. That's good. But here's the thing is that wonder how old are you do you need to be to start an account? I know a lot of people getting ready to go off to college, that's a good. That's when all right, I'm gonna go do it. But you
Right.
can start younger, and
Yeah.
you guys have a setup just like you're doing with Art Garden kids.
Right.
So tell us about that real quick.
Absolutely. So you have to, in order to have an account in your own name, you do need to be 18. But if you're under 18, you just need a parent or guardian to sign on the account with you, perhaps is serving as a custodian role. But many of our kids, we've got junior banker savings accounts, which earn a great interest rate, and it's a great way. Our lessons that we do with Carpenter Art Garden are pay yourself first, which is mainly pay your future first. So put money in savings. But then we've got the complimentary checking account that they can have. A friend of mine has both for her daughter, has had debit cards on both, and then was confused like which account is which. And so we very quickly, straightened that out so that she could then move, because it's then teaching those kids that, yes, you may want to have a debit card when you're 15. That my 15-year-old doesn't have a debit card yet, and I'm kind of nervous, but I'll have to let him go and try that one time because I have to trust him. But be able to put some money into that savings account, and then he can, if they have both accounts, then through mobile banking, obviously it's just an internal transfer that makes it easy to move money from one account to another. So you can absolutely, we've got a new Grow It Up CD that we're about to launch, George, and you think of CDs as those kind of the traditional certificate of deposit that I've got some money, and it's typically for people who just obviously want to sock it in. They're a little nervous maybe about the stock market.
And
they want
protect
just
it.
to protect that investment, earn a little bit of interest over 12, 18, 24 months. But this is a new CD for younger kids under 18.
Oh, okay.
So it's a long-term savings instrument for them, so that they can come into our office with as little as $25. They might have gotten birthday money or lemonade stand money or whatever. They can open up that Grow It Up CD. And instead of like a normal CD, you couldn't add money to it. Ours you can for this Grow It Up. And you could add, if they, have successful lemonade stands all summer, they can continue to bring their money.
Yeah.
And it earns a great interest rate during that time period as well. So again, trying to meet everybody where they are, no matter what age they are. Just give us an opportunity.
No, I love it. That's great. But we're about to wrap it up. I wanted to, we're talking 4th of July, independence, banking, what a great country we have. And then we have these options and choices. Like you say, a lot of times there are a lot of banking choices throughout the Mid-South, good banks.
Absolutely.
You guys, I think, really shine, and I love how you're so community involved. But also your product is very personal. It's state of the art.
Yes.
Anything you would like to close with?
Well, I think the second side of, what makes us a personal bank is that social consciousness, and, giving back and serving members of our community is incredibly important to us. So if you want a great checking account, but you want to work with a team that truly cares about the community, just give us an opportunity to gain your trust. We have so many different community partners that are doing incredible things throughout the city, and that we're so proud to be able to not only financially support, but bring our volunteers and help. 2 weeks from now, we're going to be at the Salvation Army Purdue Center helping put on a couple of days for their summer camp.
Oh, cool.
It's for like homeless kids that live at the Purdue Center, and just providing them really fun summer camp opportunities that they wouldn't have any other time.
So again, you guys are making us a better community, and that's Triumph Bank. You need to check it out, and their website, triumphbank.com. Phone number 901-333-8800. Just reach out and say, I need some help, and you're going to get great help. 4 locations here in Memphis, Poplar at I-240, Germantown, Collierville, Arlington. And Traci, hope you have a great 4th of July.
I hope you do too, George. Have
Fly
fun.
your flag.
Exactly.
You're listening to The Voice, FM 107.9 and AM 990.
It was a beautiful day.
The Nation of Jake.
I didn't know there was an amusement tax in Tennessee. You're paying 10% more.